Some men walk into a room and everything goes quiet. No one knows why. They're not the loudest. They're not showing off. They don't even speak. But their presence radiates calm, focus, and silent confidence. It shifts the atmosphere like gravity, and the weak feel it. As this video is for the man who's tired of being overlooked, tired of trying to prove himself, tired of explaining his silence, his standards, his strength. To people who don't even deserve access, because real power doesn't explain itself. It doesn't ask for permission. It simply walks in and changes the tone of the room. You're watching Stoic clarity, a channel built for men who are done chasing approval and ready to embody calm, grounded, unshakable masculinity. This isn't motivation, it's not ego fluff, it's pure transformation through presence and psychological strategy. And in this video, you're going to learn how to command fear and respect without saying a single word, not by being fake or flashy, but by mastering presence at the deepest level. These 6 principles will rewire how people perceive you and how you carry yourself through the world. And I'll be honest with you, the final point in this video is the most groundbreaking, the one nobody talks about, but every powerful man quietly lives by. So stay locked in. Let's begin. 1. Don't smile unless you mean it. In a world obsessed with being liked, most men weaponize the smile against themselves. They smile too much, too fast, and too often. They don't even realize they're leaking power every time they do it. See, smiling is one of the strongest nonverbal cues of submission, especially when it's not earned. It signals friendliness, sure, but more than that, it signals compliance. It says, I want you to feel comfortable, even if it costs me my edge. And for most men it does. Think about it. Powerful men don't walk around grinning at strangers. They're calm, controlled. They smile when it means something, not because it's expected, but because it's earned. That's the difference between power and approval seeking. The man who's addicted to smiling is often addicted to being accepted. And that's a dangerous place to live, because once people sense you need to be liked, they'll start testing just how much you'll give for it. But when you learn to control your smile, when you allow your face to be neutral, unreadable, and grounded, you shift the dynamic. You become harder to read, harder to manipulate, and far more respected. Because people will wonder what you're thinking. They'll work to earn your warmth instead of expecting it for free. And that shift alone, from automatic approval to intentional presence, creates instant respect. Smile when it's real, not when it's safe. That's what makes it powerful. The second point is to be comfortable in silence. Use long pauses like a weapon. See, most men are terrified of silence. They'll rush to fill every quiet second with noise, nervous laughs, filler words, over-explaining. Anything to avoid the discomfort of stillness. But here's the truth. Silence isn't empty, it's pressure. And the man who's comfortable in that pressure, he owns the room, because silence reveals who's grounded and who's scrambling. It forces people to sit with their own thoughts, their own tension. And when you're the one who's unbothered by that pause, you become the dominant presence. Every conversation has a rhythm. When you pause longer than expected, not awkwardly, but intentionally, you break that rhythm. You make people lean in. You create suspense. And now you control the tempo. This is what powerful communicators understand. It's not just about what you say, it's about how long you let it hang. A well-placed pause can hit harder than 100 words. It shows restraint. It shows control. It shows you're not desperate to prove anything. In a world that's always talking, always rushing, always filling space, stillness becomes unnerving. So don't just be okay with silence. Master it. Let others squirm. Let the moment stretch. Let your presence say what your words don't need to. And when you finally speak, Let the weight of that pause amplify every syllable. That's how you make your words land. That's how you shift energy. And that's how silence becomes your weapon, not your weakness. Point number 3, hold eye contact, then look away. When you've decided something, eye contact is primal. Before we spoke words, before we wrote language, we used our eyes to communicate everything: dominance, submission, attraction, threat, respect. And that hasn't changed. Most men break eye contact too quickly. They look down, they glance away, and they don't realize they're silently saying, "I don't want tension, I don't want conflict, I want approval." But the man who can hold eye contact, calmly, without flinching, sends a completely different message. He's not aggressive, he's not staring down prey, he's simply present, grounded, unbothered. And that unsettles people, because when someone looks at you, holds that gaze without fear or neediness, you begin to wonder what they see, you begin to feel seen. And most people aren't used to that. Most people are hiding behind words, distractions, and noise. So when your eyes say, "I see you, I'm not performing, I'm just here," it creates quiet pressure. And here's the real power move. Don't just hold eye contact. Choose when to break it. Not out of fear, not at random, but like you've made a decision and you're ready to move on. That shift from presence to dismissal is subtle but dominant. You're not competing for attention. You're not stuck in a battle. You're simply showing, "I'm in control of this moment." When done with calm confidence, eye contact becomes a mirror. It reflects back the other person's insecurity while revealing none of yours. Master this, and people won't just listen when you speak. They'll feel you before you do. The fourth point is to move slowly with precision. Never rush, never flinch. Every move you make says something about who you are. When you fidget, when you shift too much, when you move quickly and reactively, you're signaling something to the world. I'm not fully in control, and people can feel that. But a man who moves slowly, with deliberate, grounded precision, commands a different kind of attention. He doesn't jerk, flinch, or rush. He walks with intent. He gestures with clarity. He waits before reacting. This doesn't mean moving in slow motion. It means eliminating waste, no excess, no nervous tics, no constant adjusting, just efficient, purposeful motion. Like every movement means something, because when you move with control, you radiate internal stability. This principle is used by trained operators, elite athletes, and even predators in the wild. They're never frantic. They conserve energy. They act with calm efficiency, because true power doesn't flail, it strikes. And here's the deeper layer. When you move slowly, you slow down time for everyone watching. You take control of the pace. You shift from being reactive to being the one they're reacting to. Even in moments of tension, especially then, your slowness becomes unnerving. Because people expect you to flinch, they expect you to crack. But when you stay still, when your hand moves to your drink slowly, when you turn your head without hurry, when you speak only after a pause, you remind the world that you're in control of your body, your energy, and your presence. And that control? It's contagious, it's memorable, and it's exactly what makes people respect you before you've said a single word. Point number 5. Never react emotionally. Control is power. The moment you lose your composure, you lose control. Then you hand your power to someone else. This world is full of people who will provoke and push you. Not because they're strong, but because they're looking for proof that you're weak. They want to see if they can move you or pull you off center, because if they can control your reaction, they control you. But here's what separates the average man from the grounded, dangerous one. He doesn't react, he observes, because the truly dangerous man isn't numb, he's composed. And that composure, especially in today's emotionally chaotic world, is intimidating. Why? Because it's rare. And people fear what they can't manipulate. When someone tries to push your buttons and you just stand there, calm, steady, unfazed, it throws them off. And that silence becomes your weapon. This is where Stoicism meets dark psychology. You're not detached, you're disciplined. You've trained yourself to respond only when it serves you, not when it satisfies your ego. That's power. Never let someone else's chaos pull you out of your frame, because the man who controls his emotions controls every room he walks into. The final point is to protect your energy, like it's currency. Every room you walk into, every conversation you have, every glance you return, it costs something. And the most powerful men know this. Your energy is currency. You can waste it, or you can invest it into the people and good habits that actually fuel growth. But here's the trap. Most men leak their energy everywhere. They argue with fools, they engage with drama, and slowly, without noticing, they go bankrupt, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. Negative energy breeds more negativity, and if you allow draining people or toxic habits to hijack your attention, you'll forget who you are supposed to become. But the dangerous man, he's selective. He knows where his energy goes. He doesn't spend time in places where his peace is taxed. He focuses on people who replenish him, not those who deplete him. This is the final layer of silent dominance. You protect your energy so fiercely that your absence becomes more powerful than your presence. And if you've made it this far, and you already know, you're not like most men. You're watching Stoic clarity, the place where men sharpen their minds, master their presence, and learn to move through the world with quiet power. So if this message hit you, subscribe, and don't just watch. Evolve, protect your energy, own your silence, and walk into every room like you have nothing to prove. Because deep down, you know you don't.